Hey guys, welcome back to HyperTora. I've got my Japancrate box here for March. Unlike the Tokyo Treat boxes, you can actually usually tell the theme from the outside of these boxes, which is pretty cool. So the theme for this month's box is Sword Art Online, more specifically the most recent season, which is Alicization Licorice, if I pronounce that right. Sword Art Online is actually one of the first proper Japanese animes that I watched that got me into the kind of In Another World anime series from the original Sword Art Online series, which was pretty cool. So I'm quite interested in this. I haven't watched the new series for this yet, but it's one of the things that I'd say properly got me into Japanese anime, excluding things like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z that you watch as a kid. But I'm quite excited about this one. I'm not entirely sure what's going to make this sort of online themed, so maybe there might be some candies in there which have just got some changed packaging, or there might be a few anime things in here as a kind of bonus item. But let's open it up and see what we have. So this is the premium box, the same as the premium box you get for the Tokyo Treat. They're both $35 if you're getting the monthly, so there's not much difference in price. But that looks like a pretty cool box just to open up. It is interesting with the Japancrate, it's a slightly different size to the Tokyo Treat, because we find there's usually smaller stacks in here, I think, than the Tokyo Treat, which has some slightly larger packages of certain items. So the box on this is not as deep, and it's a bit wider. So this month's box is obviously Japancrate March Sword Art Online, so that's pretty cool. And that just looks really nice and colourful, which is pretty funky as well. So I'm going to open this up in the centre, which has all our information about what's inside it, so that I can go through all our items and actually understand what's in here. So to start off with, we have what looks like says sour paper on the top. This is feels like a kind of gummy candy. So this says sour cider candy. It looks a little bit like Ramune with the picturing on it with the blue. It's probably a bit like some of those flat laces you get. We tend to get lots of cola ones like this in the UK, so that'd be quite interesting to try out. I can't remember if we've had similar stuff like this from our Tokyo Treat boxes. And that's really nice. This is interesting. So this was obviously from the original box, because you have 3 different box sizes with Japancrate. Our next thing up here is Bottle Sour, which is a little kind of greenish tint, set of kind of granules, I'd say, in there. So this is from the premium box. It looks like we've got green and they're coming in different colours. So this is where part of the game theme comes in for the anime for Sword Art Online. So red is supposedly health, blue is mana, and vitality is green. So these are little potion pots, which are quite interesting. That's one way that they've managed to tie it in. Next up, we've actually got a little non-candy item, which is our supposed bonus item, which I think must be something that comes with the premium box. So this is our Sword Art Online keychain, which is pretty cool. This is limited edition Alice keychain. So obviously I haven't seen the newer Sword Art Online yet, so that's a little bit new to me, but pretty funky. Next up, we have some original Lifeguard Gum here. So this looks like it's going to be energy drink flavoured, just from the packaging. So this comes from the original box. So harness the energy to get you through any boss fight with these Life Gum pellets. So I do find it interesting sometimes how they link different candies to the different kind of animes or games when they try and give them these themes. Next up, it looks like we got some peach candies, some gummies. This is Peach Ninja Candy. So obviously they're linking the ninja to the theme. So it's deceptively soft with their crisp outer shells and chewy centres. So that would be quite interesting. Although part of me kind of expects I'm going to put this in my mouth after looking at some of the other items we got and expect it to be really sour. But I'm hoping that's not. I'm hoping it's nice and refreshing. Next up, we got some what looks like some gummy candies on the end of some lollipop sticks. So these are from the premium box as well. This is Dutch Candy Flowers, hand-picked by Alice herself. So Something totally unrelated, but they're trying to sort of tie into the theme there. Next up, we have what looks like a DIY candy. It looks like a reasonably simplistic one. This comes in the original box, if you get from the original box upwards. So it looks like we've got different vegetables or fruits, and we've got some gummies which we can mix together to put into a mould to get the different shapes. We've had similar stuff to this before, so if I remember rightly, sometimes you get 3 different, or a couple different flavours, and then you can mix them together to combine them to get like lemon and strawberry to get orange, which always interests me on how you can mix flavours on there to get an entirely new flavouring. Next up, we've got some ice cream flavour mushroom snacks. So this is from the premium box. It says truffle, choco and vanilla Kanoko Yama. So we've had, it's been a while since I've had stuff like these little mushrooms on the end of the breadstick stalks. So it's quite nice to get some of those. We haven't had one of those in Tokyo Treat for a while either. Next up, oh, I remember these. So we've got a little animal candy package. So this is from the mini box, and this is Choco Animals. I'd say that looks like a mouse, or something similar from there, but that's pretty cool. So normally I think these have little, I'd say like Smarties, if you've got Smarties in your country, they're little sugar coated chocolate treats. So they're really nice. Next up, we've got a gummy. So we've got a little hand in your kind of traditional Japanese pose on the end of it. Your little loop. This is a tiny gummy. This is from the mini box, and oh, I see. So this is rock, paper, scissors. So we've got the scissors here, but you could also get the paper or the rock version, which is pretty cool. So that must be quite interesting if you're a kid and you've got one of those each, and then you do rock, paper, scissors with them. Next up, we've got some sort of marshmallow. It looks like it might be custard flavoured based on the packaging. So this is from the mini box as well. This is pudding Daifuku. So pudding cream filled marshmallows. So I don't think we've had a pudding cream filled marshmallow before, so that's something new, which is really nice. And I think what we were saying earlier about a lot of the stuff in Japancrate being smaller items, obviously if you get the premium box, you get all the stuff in the original box and the mini box. So the mini box has lots of small items in, because the mini box is a lot cheaper than the premium. Next up, we've got a little consolation choco cookie. So this is from the mini box as well. We've had similar things to these before on the channel. So these are quite nice little snacks. Next up, we've got a key choco. These are going to be very similar to the kind of Smartie-like things in here. Another set of chocolate coated or sugar coated chocolates. I can't remember if we had something similar to this in last month's Japancrate, or if I'm thinking of Tokyo Treat. But I think that might be a bit of a repeat already. It's hard for me to remember which box it came in, but I remember seeing one of those last month. Next up, we have a Kitkat package. So this is from the premium box. This is nuts and berries ruby Kitkats. So this is quite interesting. We've not had Kitkats like this before. Not only have we got like the ruby chocolate and the nuts and berries, which is something I haven't seen from the Kitkats we've had in the Japancrate or Tokyo Treat before, but these look like they're little bite-sized sort of balls rather than you traditional size Kit Kats. So that's quite interesting. And they've even gone on the back to put dear and from in English for the traditional Japanese sort of gifting of Kit Kats. So that's something entirely new, which I'm quite looking forward to trying. Next up in here we have our drink, which is from the premium box. We've got a violet with grape flavour. So it looks like we've got a kind of Mountain Dew grape, it says. So that's pretty funky. I don't think I've seen Mountain Dew from Japan before. So this is a new drink for me. It's really nice to try out. So it's something I wouldn't have tried if I got, or probably wouldn't have had the chance to try if I didn't get the Japancrate box. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I do like the grape flavoured candies, but I'm not sure whether that's going to have the similar kind of candy grape flavour that you get with different things in these boxes. Next up, another thing to tie us into Sword Art Online, we got a kind of samurai sword which looks like it's got gumballs in it, which is quite interesting. I don't think it's entirely full. I think we've got about that many gumballs in there. This is from the premium box and it does say gum sword, so that's pretty cool there, and it's pretty cool for young kids as well to play with. Although I wouldn't recommend small gumballs for too younger kids because of the choking hazard. Next up, we've got a savoury item, so we've got some Cheetos. I think Cheetos are very much American, but we've got wasabi flavouring on these. So this is from the original box. We have Wotsits in the UK, which is sort of our version of Cheetos, which is sort of stubbier and fattier. So it'd be quite interesting to try these out and see how they differ. I imagine the wasabi will give a bit of a spicy kick to it. And I always find wasabi is a very different spicy kick to your usual kind of chili kick. And then I think our last item in this box, which is from the mini box, is black honey and matcha caramel corn from Daifuku. So that's quite interesting. This is a flavour I don't think we definitely haven't had this kind of caramel corn before. So we might have had matcha caramel corn before, but definitely not black honey and matcha. So that's certainly interesting to see. I wouldn't have guessed that from the packaging. I would have thought of chocolate or something based on that, but this is why we got the booklet, which is really nice. And as far as I can see on here, we've got everything that's supposed to be in here, which is pretty cool. And we've also got some stuff about the theme of the box in here, as well as sort of a word search and little puzzle, which is pretty funky. It's really nice to see. There's also some little characters on the bottom of the box there to just add some little extras to the theme. It's quite nice that they sort of changed the box on Japancrate so you can actually tell the theme of what's coming in, though it might not be advantageous depending on your country, whether you want people to know exactly what's coming in your boxes. Okay, so let's try some of this stuff out. I'm going to start with our Mountain Dew grape drink. This is fizzy, so if you get this box, I'd recommend being careful about fizzy drinks. That's really nice. It's definitely got grape flavouring to it, but I'd say it's a very slightly different grape flavouring from what you traditionally get in a grape soda from Japan, which is probably the Mountain Dewy taste of this. It's really nice and refreshing, actually. The packaging makes me think of Vimto, which is a kind of blackcurrant drink in the UK, just from the purpling colour. But it's a really nice, refreshing drink, actually. Quite energising. Next up, I'll try out our little mushroom snack. So this does actually have a pour tab in here, if I open it properly. And what's really cool, these are individually packaged as well. Normally when I get these, it's one big package and you've got them all there at once. So that's a really nice addition to this snack. You don't have to eat them all at once or within a short period of time without them going off. So we got our little Bracex stalk there with our chocolate, white chocolate and milk chocolate on top. They're really nice. Nice and milky, that chocolate. It's not too dark. It's quite nice. So next up we've got our honey and matcha caramel corn. It smells very rich. I think that might be the honey in there. So you've got green from the matcha, but the honey gives it a kind of very kind of deep down rich smell to it. I'm not sure if it's because of the chocolate I've just had. There isn't too strong a flavour to these. As I eat more, it's building up. There's a very light hint of matcha in there. It's with the honey. It's quite nice. It's not overpowering like some matcha snacks can be. So if you're new to matcha and you're not used to like the bitterness that you can get from matcha, that tends to be overcome with candies. That's quite a nice snack to start with, especially with the honey sort of overpowering any sourness that might be there. Next up we have our Cheetos with wasabi. So this is one giant packaging. Now looking at the outside of this and thinking about what we have for Wotsits in the UK, I was expecting these to look a bit more orange and cheesier. If you're from America and you have Cheetos, let me know what these are normally like. Are they normally like this colour, or are they normally sort of more orange? Because the kind of closest I'd say we have in the UK being Wotsits are kind of short, stubbier, fat things which are very orange and cheesy. Very strong hint of wasabi. I'll finish those off later. At the start, I got a nice hint of the cheese, and then the wasabi went straight in there and gave me a punch. So that's quite overpowering. If you're not good with wasabi, that might be a bit strong for you. But yeah, next up we have this samurai sword. Now, I think we have to cut this to open it. So I don't think it twists. I'm not sure how we get this open, which is going to be the first fun task. There is a kind of, there is a kind of pull area around here where you want to break this. So if you've ordered this box, probably don't do what I'm doing with the knife to try and get this open. There we go. So the handle comes off there. Oh, and we got all these little gum balls. Now, being gum, I imagine sometimes you get balls like this you can swallow, but I doubt you can with these. That's really nice. The orange one, obviously, I think they're going to be different flavours. That's like a really nice palate cleanser in between the candies there. But obviously can't sit there and chew that all video. Next up, we've got a little animal candy snack. So this should open just behind the head and undo like so. So they're not quite like Smarties, they're little balls which you open up. I think they're still chocolate though. And I think you can pour these out into the packaging, and if you're good you can sort of close it back up like so. So then there's a little pull tab at the back, so they act a little bit like little animal poops out the back of the packaging. I don't know whether you think that's disgusting or not, but yeah. So you get these kind of little pellets out. They're quite fruity and flavourful. I'm not too sure. I don't think they're actually chocolate. They might be something else, but they're pretty nice actually. Next up we have our kind of choco tea thing. It always amuses me, but these are packaged in like how I'd expect pills to be packaged. But they're really nice. They're quite good. Slight, not quite milky. Slight hint of richness to them in the chocolate, but still milky enough. So they're really nice. They're little Smartie-like things. There. Next up, we have our chocolate-coated cookie. So I have had similar items to this before in some of our Japanese boxes. You got a little star sign on the front. There's a little goat, and then we got our cookie on the back. Again, that's really nice. It's slightly richer milk chocolate than I possibly have liked, but nonetheless it's quite nice. There. Next up, I want to try our Kitkat. So this is entirely new for me, because in some of the years I get in Japan boxes from like Tokyo Treat. This is new. We've got these little balls in here, which look like they're going to have kind of nuts and berries in them. There's only 6 of these in a package, which is a little bit disappointing, but I suppose given the package size, probably about right. So that's the ruby chocolate is maybe like cranberries. That's really nice. You got the crunch in the middle from the kind of Kitkat layers, but you got the kind of nice milkiness of the chocolate. I say it's like milk white chocolate, but it's ruby chocolate. It's obviously mixed with some sort of berry, so it's not quite as tangy as some white chocolate is. So that's really nice, actually. Very Moorish. I think you could eat the whole packet of that very quickly, considering there's only 6 of them in there. Next up, we have our Peach Samurai. I'm hoping gummies. So these are little kind of square rectangular, almost like tablets. They're quite nice. I love how refreshing peach candies are in Japan. It's got a kind of hard outside, and I was expecting that to be a kind of more soft gummy centre, but that was quite a chewy gummy centre, which I wasn't quite expecting. Next up we have, I'll move our keychain across because I'm not eating that. We've got our little sour green bottle for our potion, which was, I think it said Vitality. I imagine this might be apple flavour based on the green. Yeah, so that one I think is definitely apple flavour. It's not quite as sour as I was expecting. So that's pretty nice, and it kind of melts in your mouth really nice and easily. Next up we have Lifeguard Gum, which is energy drink flavoured. In here we've got about that many, so there's about 6 in there, which is quite nice for the size of the packaging. You think there's six little gum things in here, and compare the package size to 6 of those. I know these are slightly larger, but still. That definitely tastes like energy drink. If you like that kind of sweet energy drink flavour you get from drinking energy drink, these are going to be really nice for you. But yeah, they're quite, that's actually, for energy drinks that don't always taste very nice, that was actually pretty cool. Next up we have our sour paper, as they like to call it in the translation. So these are little gummy flat sugar lace things. So we definitely get candies like this in the UK, but very probably not in this flavouring. It says cider, which in the UK, cider is an alcoholic apple beverage, so this is going to be definitely not alcoholic. I think cider in a lot of other countries sometimes just means apple juice. You know, it's definitely not apple. I think it might just be Rimune, and that might just be that cider is the translation for Rimune. No, that's really nice. Next up, we have our little flour sticks. So these almost look like they're hand packaged, and they've got a little pipe cleaner around. So that's the first one I've seen like the pipe cleaner used for packaging candies. And these are supposed to represent flowers, so they're in little cones. I imagine each one's a different flavour. So it's definitely not gummy on the end of the stick. Looking at these and the way they were powdered in sugar made me think that they were a chewy gummy. That was more like a lollipop. So probably don't bite into these, I'd suck on them. I wasn't quite expecting that. It's pretty cool. It did taste nice. I wasn't quite expecting it to break up in my mouth like that. Next up we have our Marshmallow. So this supposedly has a custardy creamy centre. So yeah, you got that kind of custardy centre in the centre there. It's quite moist. It's quite unusual sometimes getting stuff like that in the centre of Marshmallow, and quite rare to sometimes get it in these boxes. So that's actually quite nice. Next up we have our rock, paper, scissors gummy. And looking at this, it might be grape or cola based on the colour. If I can get into this, I think I'm going to have to cut the back. So there we go. So these don't always come out so easy. It smells like cola, so we've got a nice cola gummy here, rather than grape. It's really nice, and really nice rich cola flavouring to that. It's quite sticky if you manage to break into that trying to get it out. And that's quite nice. I wish I had more of that. It's so because it's quite small, but a bit like cola bottles you get, that's a quite rich cola bottle flavouring. Yeah, so our last item in this box is our DIY. So it's nice to get these. Unfortunately, for some reason, our Tokyo Treat, our last couple of months with Tokyo Treat hasn't had a DIY, and I'm not entirely sure why. So it's nice to still get them in the Japancrate. Now, this is familiar, we've had this before in another box. So we've got a little shop stand, so when you make these things, you can actually kind of put them up like a shop. So if I remember how this goes, you should have, I think it's up. So you should be able to make a kind of stand for your candies, like so. If I've got that bit right, you can put your little candies that you make on there and then try and set this up somewhere. I'm not entirely sure how you'll get this to stand. It does kind of look like it's got a backing on it, but it's pretty funky, and you've got different prices there in yen. But let's actually get to the candy making. So here we got a mould. These do break apart, and you kind of got some little dimples so you can push them together. You obviously want to get them the right way round, otherwise you'll have something like half a melon, half a something else. So I think the last one of these we had was a lot of fruit. This one seems more veg. So from what I can tell, we've got corn, peach, melon, and it looks a bit like an onion, but I'm not entirely sure. It might be a strawberry or some sort of pepper or tomato. There's the other one on there. And then we got 3 different kind of flavour packets here. So we've got apple, strawberry and lemon. Or grape, it might be grape, I'm not entirely sure. It smells like apple. So you can mix these, so like if you mix these two, you should get a kind of orange, yellow and red, and I think it might taste a bit more like orange, which is quite interesting. You've got to kind of need these to get that to happen though, because at the moment it takes a little while to want to mix rather than stay as yellow and red as separate colours. But that is slowly going into a kind of orangey shape there. So we've got a melon as well, so I'm going to do a green. So you want to push these, before you push these into the mould, you kind of want to work them because they're quite solid to start off with, and then push them in the mould. You want a little bit more in there than the actual space it takes up, because considering I've done orange, I'm just going to do that. I think it's a peach mould, and then push these together to flatten these out there. So I haven't probably put quite enough in one of these, so they've gone a little bit funky, but it was sort of that. You can kind of see the texture coming off on that for the melon. It's quite nice, and we got the orange one there. And again, these are really nice. They're quite refreshing as well. I imagine if you're good with this kind of stuff, you could probably get things like the corn here. You could probably try and get the yellow at the top there and green down the bottom for the husk. I don't think I'm that creative or that kind of careful with trying to be able to do that on a video for YouTube right now, so I'm not going to try that. But if you guys do that, do feel free to post a photo down below of your creations with these. It'd be pretty interesting to see if you've got this box. That's everything in this box. Because of the way that this box ships, this is March's box. I can't actually, like Tokyo Treat, get the following month's box in the previous month. So while this is shipped in February, it's very unlikely for the time that they ship these for the first round that I'll get it by the end of February, which is when you can still order this one. It normally arrives in March, at which point in March you're ordering for April's box from the month afterwards. So unfortunately, if you order now, you won't get this particular box. Unlike with Tokyo Treat, where normally I'll get the box early, you can still order the same box that I actually receive. So that's a little bit of difference in the boxes and how they ship. Japancrate ships twice a month, depending on whether you order in the first half or the second half. Whereas Tokyo Treat now used to do something like that, but they now ship, hopefully, usually within about 3 or 4 days of your order renewal date, which is pretty cool. So you get your Tokyo Treats a lot earlier than you do your Japancrates. So you might be waiting a little bit longer for these. This one did arrive a little bit later in the month than the last one. That's to be expected because February was a shorter month. So they normally ship this one on the 20th if you're in the first round. So it's actually had less time in February to actually get closer to us for March. But that's everything in here. Please do comment down below with what your favourite item in this box was and let me know what you think of this box. I still think Tokyo Treat might be one of my favourites. It tends to have larger items, though I do notice things in Tokyo Treat, it sometimes become a bit same-ish, or like this, they've been dropping the DIYs for the last few months, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Tokyo Treat there. But it's nice to get a change of pace with Japancrate. It has sort of sometimes, even though there's occasional repeats or similar items between Tokyo Treat and Japancrate, it does tend to have some smaller items and different items that you probably wouldn't have pop up in Tokyo Treat, so it's quite nice to get this one as well. But if you do get both, do expect occasionally to get some repeats. Hopefully of items you like. But that's it from me. Please do hit the like button down below if you enjoyed the video, and please do subscribe if you want to see more unboxing videos from me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.